Bridges of Jerusalem stories of three women. Envision a scene where the three women are sitting in a cozy, small coffee shop, with the warm light of evening streaming through the window. Each woman has her distinct appearance and expression reflecting her life story. Rachel, dressed modestly in traditional attire, her posture reserved yet thoughtful. Sarah, in her army uniform, a bit weary but strong, her eyes reflecting the weight of her duties, and Maya, wearing a colorful shawl, her face reflecting both warmth and the resilience of a life filled with struggle. The coffee shop's interior is a mix of modern and old Jerusalem, with a few patrons in the background, creating a feeling of a moment of respite in a place full of history and tension. The story unfolds in Jerusalem, a city of profound history and divided identities, where three women, each from distinct backgrounds and life paths, come together in an unexpected and transformative encounter. This narrative is proudly brought to you by Polly Speaks For You. At Polly Speaks For You, we are committed to empowering individuals, especially those with disabilities or learning challenges, through innovative text-to-speech and voice recognition technology. Polly Speaks For You is more than just software. It's a tool for self-expression, connecting people with the world in meaningful ways. By blending the richness of history with cutting-edge technology, Polly Speaks For You demonstrates that every voice, whether preserving the past or shaping the future, has the potential to inspire. While we strive to make the story engaging, our primary focus is on storytelling itself. The visuals are secondary. We're showcasing the remarkable capabilities of text-to-speech software that bring these stories to life. Rachel, a traditional Jewish ultra-religious housewife, lives in the heart of a community that thrives on rituals and devotion. Her life is dictated by the principles of her faith, the routines of raising a family, and the unyielding expectations of her world. She wears long skirts modestly covering her body, and her days are filled with prayer, cooking, cleaning, and caring for her children. While Rachel embraces her religious duties with passion and devotion, there is a quiet, unspoken part of her that feels constrained. At night, when her family is asleep, she often gazes out of her window, wondering what the world beyond her home holds. Her dreams are filled with the possibility of more, of a life beyond the narrow confines of her community's expectations. Sarah, a soldier in the Israeli army, lives a life of rigor and discipline. Every day, she wears her uniform and steps into a world where strength is essential and vulnerability is a luxury. She carries out her duties with precision, focused on the security of her country and the expectations placed upon her as a woman in a male-dominated military environment. Sarah's role is one of constant tension. The weight of her responsibility often keeps her from forming deep connections with others. And though she holds her country's mission close to her heart, she struggles with the emotional toll of her work. The faces of those she encounters on patrol, in checkpoints, and in the quiet hours of duty often haunt her thoughts. She knows that being a soldier isn't just a job. It's a way of life that doesn't allow for weakness, for fear, or for second-guessing. But beneath the armor she wears, there's a longing for peace, for a day where the guns are silent and the walls between people are broken down. Maya, a Palestinian woman from Bethlehem, has a life deeply entwined with the land, the people, and the produce she sells in the Jerusalem market. Every 3 times a year, she packs her fruits and vegetables and makes the arduous journey from Bethlehem to the market in Jerusalem, where she sets up her stall. She is a strong, independent woman, one whose life has been shaped by the rhythms of the seasons and the demands of her family's farm. The journey to Jerusalem, however, is never easy. As a Palestinian woman, she must navigate the restrictions imposed by the occupation. At the checkpoints, the soldiers often question her, delay her, and sometimes prevent her from passing altogether. Despite these obstacles, Maya remains resilient, knowing that the market is her livelihood, her chance to provide for her children, and an opportunity to interact with the wider world beyond her small village. She has grown used to the hardships, but that doesn't mean they don't take a toll. Beneath her tough exterior lies a woman yearning for freedom, for dignity, and for a life where her people are not confined by walls, physical, emotional, or political. One afternoon, after a long day in the market, Maya makes her way to a small, quiet coffee shop in Jerusalem, seeking respite from the heat and the stresses of the day. The shop is a neutral space, a small haven for those who, like her, are just passing through the city. It's here that Rachel, with her simple dress and quiet presence, sits alone, her eyes scanning the room, waiting for the next moment of her day to unfold. Sarah enters next, her uniform giving her an air of authority, yet her expression carries the fatigue of someone who has lived too long in a world of command and conflict. Maya, with her colorful shawl and weary feet, finds a seat near the window and, as the waitress hands her a coffee, looks around. At first, the women don't speak. Rachel notices Sarah the soldier and instinctively feels a distance, a barrier built by the world's divisions. She doesn't understand the life of a soldier, nor does she feel the need to. Maya, on the other hand, notices Rachel's quiet demeanor and Sarah's tense posture. The tension in the room is palpable, the weight of history, of conflict, and of division. But then something shifts. The space between them softens and Maya, ever the communicator, smiles at Rachel. Rachel hesitates, then smiles back, and in that simple exchange, an invisible thread of connection is formed. The three women begin to speak. Maya starts with the story of her market journey, of the long hours, the crowded streets, the smiles and the stares, the push of the produce and the weight of the regulations. She talks about the challenges of living in Bethlehem under occupation, of the barriers that separate her from the city she visits, and of the constant threat of delays and denials at the checkpoints. Rachel listens, captivated by Maya's strength and resilience, and shares her own story, how she too feels trapped, though in a different way. Rachel speaks of her life in the ultra-religious community, where every decision is dictated by tradition and the desire to stay true to her faith. She talks of the joy she finds in her children, but also the frustration she feels in never having the freedom to make her own choices. She too lives with walls, walls of faith, walls of expectations, walls that keep her from experiencing life on her own terms. Sarah, who has been quiet, speaks up next. She talks about her experiences as a soldier, the tension she feels between duty and morality, the difficulty of seeing the humanity in those she is supposed to protect and those she is supposed to control. She tells them of her fear at night, when the weight of her uniform feels too heavy, when the faces of the people she has encountered in the field flash through her mind. Sarah shares her longing for peace, for the day when she can hang up her uniform and live a life not defined by conflict. As the evening wears on, the three women realize that their lives, though so different, are connected by the same themes: sacrifice, strength, and the desire for peace. They are bound not just by their shared humanity, but by the circumstances that define their existence. Maya's desire for freedom, Rachel's search for self, and Sarah's burden of duty all form the foundation of their conversation. Maya, with her wisdom born of struggle, speaks of her hope for a future where the walls, both physical and emotional, come down. She dreams of a day when the land will belong to all its people, when the occupation will end, and when she will no longer be forced to travel through checkpoints. Rachel listens, and in her heart, a spark of hope flickers. She has always believed in the sanctity of tradition, but in this moment, she wonders if there is room for change, for growth, for understanding beyond the rigid boundaries of her faith. Sarah, ever the soldier, feels a shift within herself as well. She has always seen the world in terms of us and them, of duty and enemy. But tonight, in this coffee shop, she sees not enemies but women who have lived through their own struggles, women who are not so different from herself. She begins to question the lines she has drawn in her mind, the walls she has built around her understanding of the world. As the night draws to a close, the three women leave the coffee shop, their hearts lighter, their minds clearer. They know that the world they live in is not easily changed. They know that their lives will continue to be shaped by the forces beyond their control. But in that moment, they also know that their connection, their shared stories have the power to change them, to offer them a glimpse of what it means to bridge divides, to see beyond the walls, and to dream of a future where women like them, from different backgrounds, can sit together, share stories, and find peace, if only for a brief moment. If you're enjoying this story, please remember to hit like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us continue creating content that educates and empowers. To learn more about South Africa's leading accessibility software and to support our dyslexic-friendly initiative, visit www.polispeaks4u.a. Thank you for watching.